For further insight on Myanmar's new government and this historic transition, I'm joined now in the studio by Priscilla Clapp. She was the U.S. Chief of Mission in Myanmar from 1999 to 2002. She's now a senior advisor at the U.S. Institute of Peace and Asia Society. Let's talk a little bit about the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. He met with Aung San Suu Kyi. Talk to me about this relationship between these two countries.
Oh, it's a big relationship there. I could go on forever about that. I think it's significant, very symbolic, that that was her first act as foreign minister. Of course, she wears several hats, but that was the way she opened up her foreign ministry persona, and I think it was very significant. It was a signal that she realizes China is the big neighbor and wants to have very good relations with China.
You started to laugh because it's not only a big relationship, it's a complicated relationship.
It's a very complicated relationship.
And one of the things that was not broached in their discussion, which got some press, was this hydroelectric dam, which China is funding, which has been on hold since, I think, 2011 now. Where do you think that goes? Because obviously China would like it to...
This is my personal opinion, but I don't think it's going anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. It's so unpopular in the country. I mean, how could a popularly elected government move ahead with such an unpopular project? There are many ways of dealing with it, and I think that Beijing realizes that it's not a winner at this point. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. That dam will not do anything for Myanmar because they don't have enough capacity to absorb that much electricity.
Let me ask you another question, which is interesting, gets back to the complicated nature of this relationship. Just a little over a year ago, and I think we probably talked about this in March, there was a stray bomb that landed in China. 4 people were killed. The diplomat, the ambassador, was called in Beijing, and what's happened there? Because the rebels still are in that region, aren't they? I mean, is that still an issue?
Not in Kokang. That was a battle that was going on in Kokang region, and that's pretty much been brought under control. They were even able to participate in the elections in November. But when the bomb strayed into China, it was in the midst of a big battle there. But there is other fighting going on near there in northern Shan State and up in the Kachin area. It's been more quiet recently, but we'll see. I'm hoping that the peace process will resume very soon.
But you and I have talked about how many, you almost need a scorecard. There's so many different rebel groups. It's difficult to get them all on the same page, isn't it?
Well, there's 17 recognized ethnic armed groups, ethnic armed organizations, we call them. But there are about 500 paramilitaries that are armed too. Some of them on the side of the National Army, some of them on the side of the ethnic groups, some of them freelancing. It's a heavily armed country, and they've got to bring that under control.
Talk to me about the release of the prisoners. Significant?
Very, very. I mean,
and how so?
Because in Aung San Suu Kyi's hat as state counselor working with the president, it's their first big move, and it's a very popular move. There was a lot of anger about these students being kept in prison and treated so badly for such a long time. They're not in good shape, and I think that she was longing to have some way to let them out.
So as signals go, in just a brief period here, what are we seeing from this new leadership, do you think?
I think we're seeing a very carefully planned strategy to take charge of the government and overcome the perception, particularly outside the country and to an extent inside the country, that the military still runs the show. I think that she has taken charge and shown that the elected civilian parliament is in charge. And the military is a partner in all of this, but they're not running the show anymore.
So some key signals, just her first few acts.
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, the release of the political prisoners, normally that would have required a long process of military approval because the military controls the prison system. But they managed to do it legally through the existing laws. Not all of them are out. They were able to drop the charges on the ones that came out today. That's one step. There's still some more difficult ones to deal with. And meeting with the Chinese foreign minister, first meeting with the foreign minister, puts her basically in charge of the relationship with China.
Priscilla, always a delight. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.